We had a really interesting time here at the Herzog Foundation and our studios last week when Governor Scott Walker, formerly of Wisconsin, visited. He's now the public face of Young America's Foundation, and the Herzog Foundation and YAF, as we call them around here, Josh, got together and had some fun.
Yeah, we had about 70 high school seniors from around the country gather for this Faith and Freedom event, or Faith and Nation event. It was a 4-day conference. It was run by the Herzog Foundation in partnership with Young America's Foundation. Speakers did include, as you say, Wisconsin Governor, or former Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker, and speakers presented on a number of topics, including Christian leadership in government, the moral case for free market capitalism, as well as the perils of socialism and how to respond to the pro-transgender movement. So it was a great opportunity for these high school seniors to come together with other like-minded young people, but also to be encouraged as they're about to sort of fly the nest and strike out on their own here in the next year or so, to think about how will they be civically engaged and why are these issues so important to our country's future.
You know, Michael, it was a bit of a mixed bag. Speaking of the young vote in this last election, it seems the tide is turning a bit. I know the Gen X generation voted Trump, but young people seem split. Young men in particular seem to be trending more conservative, as Josh was just mentioning some of those issues, particularly of faith and politics. Are we seeing a sea change in the youth vote in this country?
I think there's a coming explosion in conservative values in youth. And the Herzog Foundation and Young America's Foundation got on the train early here with this conference, Faith and Nation. I think it's, let me just brag about the Herzog Foundation for a second. Other than helping people across the country start and grow Christian schools, I think this conference on Faith and Nation is the most important thing Herzog does. And it's only been done once and just last week. You know, the satirical news site Babylon Bee had a video press conference post-election of Satan talking about the election results, and Satan said, "Well, everybody complaining that we're after your kids." And he says, "Oh, by the way, we are after your kids," and the culture certainly is. You see the racial and sexual and even political indoctrination in the schools. You see the toxic entertainment media that's out there. You are what you consume. And so this conference comes at a very important time. It's very important right now, more than ever, that we pass on American values. And I think the term faith and nation sums it up pretty nicely.
Jillian, how about this notion of, and I asked you about the ladies voting last week, I'll ask you again about younger ladies voting in particular. They say that younger men trending more conservative, but we've seen that certainly younger women, college-educated women, single women, they seem to be shifting harder to the left. Can that be reversed? Is that something you anticipate could be reversed?
Yeah, I think it does. And I think the statistics show that women, even if they're maybe more liberal in their youth, tend to lean more conservative once they get married. And maybe that's because they take a little bit more awareness of what's going on in the economy or what's going on in education, because they're thinking about children, or they're thinking about, hey, I'd love to be a stay-at-home mom, but can my husband actually earn enough in this economy to support us? And I think, and even for young women nowadays, I think is going to be a super huge issue is all of the LGBTQ stuff, and having men in women's bathrooms and women's sports and all sorts of things like that are really just disgusting to women to have to endure that. And it's happening to children. I've written stories about elementary school students and middle school students who are told, girls who are being made to sleep in the same bed as a male student because they're told that if they don't do that they're discriminating or being hateful. And it's really, really heinous things. And I think women are, if they aren't realizing it yet, I think they're starting to realize that this liberal agenda really isn't for their best interest. And then the best place for them to be really is the conservatives right now, because they're the ones who actually want to protect women and keep them safe.
Yeah, biological males in women's sports and spaces ended up being a much bigger issue than I think many on the left anticipated it would be. Exit polls show that ended up being a much more significant issue for many women than was first thought. So